Present.
Alderman Bowman. Present. Alderman Moselle. Here. Alderman Seaver. Present. We have one. Present. At this time, we're going to have a presentation. Well, let's first go to audience time. Is there anyone from the audience that has any questions regarding broadband before we give a presentation? Okay, this time we're going to have a presentation.
I'm wondering a little bit about the speed of the service as well as affordability. I believe other places they have extremely fast, probably much faster than here. So I'm wondering also, does the city have any ideas or any does the city have any ideas or goals to creating their own internet infrastructure?
After the presentation, we'll get some answers to some of your questions, okay? Thank you, Mr. Bishop. At this time, we'll have a presentation. Introduce yourselves to the audience as well as to some of the aldermen, and take us through the digital navigator this time, what you've been doing over the course of the year.
Thank you, Dr. Kirkwood, and thank you to committee members, council members, and public who are here to hear a little bit about Connect Waukegan. My name is Peggy Talbot. I'm a volunteer that's been working with the local task force, really trying to address some of the broadband and digital equity issues here locally. I've had a chance to speak with all of you a little bit in the past to update you on some of the work that we have taken, and I'm excited tonight to give you an update on how we're making some progress, specifically on the affordability issue that was just brought up. So hopefully you will get some information here tonight. So first of all, just as a quick reminder, we're going to run through some slides. I know you guys have a lot to cover this evening and have gone through a lot so far. So we'll move through things. We did leave for all of the council members a packet that is the slide deck. So you'll have that as a reference point afterwards. Don't worry about trying to track where we're at, but it is a takeaway piece along with some flyers and brochures that are also available to you as resources. So first, just as a quick update, the Waukegan Community Broadband Task Force was formed in late 2020 as we really all began to sense the criticality of being disconnected and how important being connected was. We have here some of the groups that have been a part of that task force: city representation from critical stakeholders, and other partners. We have worked and have been meeting weekly for now almost a year and a half, and really cannot commend enough the members of the staff at the City of Waukegan who have been a part of leading those discussions. You know, again, one of our big things is we see the internet as access to opportunity, and we want to make sure that all of your residents have an ability to access it. So what have we been up to? We formed the task force, we opened dialogues with the state of Illinois, and were accepted into their Illinois Connected Communities program as part of their second round cohort. We secured over $220,000 in funding. A combination was a piece of initial funding from private foundations and organizations within the community, as well as some support from the city. We engaged one of the leading broadband consultants in the country to help us put together a digital equity plan. And through that process, surveyed residents with more than 10,000 surveys going out to households in Waukegan to really get a sense of what their biggest barriers to connectivity were. We identified 5 priorities that we could really look at. We'll talk about those tonight. It's really the first one where we're going to spend some time. So first was, we knew that affordability is one of the biggest barriers, and there's a way we can address that with the federal government's program called the Affordable Connectivity Program. We know that Connect Waukegan, as a community-driven task force,
has helped create and coalesce ideas around critical stakeholders, so we want that to continue. We're looking at and testing the feasibility of fixed wireless opportunities for networks to support different pockets of the community that may be unable to connect in other manners. We're looking at the possibility of something like a community connection center, a resource that would be available to the community to address all of the issues, not just how can we make internet more affordable, maybe provide technical support the digital literacy initiatives already in the community, look at supporting residents who might need free or refurbished devices so that once they have access, they have a device to connect with. So really, as we move forward, the one that we want to spend time tonight talking about is utilizing the Affordable Connectivity Program. And probably the most exciting thing is that we're going to introduce to you tonight Elizabeth Ramirez, who is Waukegan's first Community Digital Navigator. And I'm going to hype her up a few minutes, and then you're going to hear from her, and you're going to be wowed on your own. So Elizabeth is a graduate of Waukegan High School. She graduated number 3 in her class. She won't brag about that, but I will. An amazing student. Graduated early from Lake Forest College. She finished in December and has come back here to work in her own community and give back. You know, as you will hear from her, she knows the challenges residents face. She has 3 younger sisters. They all struggle to work and learn at home, know that having internet is an important part of that, and she wants to help other residents in the community make home internet more affordable. So she's going to share with you a little bit about what she's doing. And as a digital navigator, she is here to help residents directly and organizations, as well as help you as leaders in your community bring this resource to people to get the benefit that they are all eligible for. So she's going to talk a little bit about what she's been able to do just in a very short period of time. And then I guess what we really want to help you understand is I know that you spoke recently and voted to consider applying some CDBG funds towards this digital navigator process, and I think you'll get a sense from Elizabeth why it will be so important to have more of her to help your residents. So with that, I'm going to turn it over, and at the end, we'll do a quick wrap up with any questions.
Thank you so much, Peggy, for that introduction, and good evening, everyone. As Peggy mentioned, my name is Elizabeth. I am the Digital Navigator at Connect Waukegan. And I want to start off by talking a little bit about, the difficulty of this process. So why, people are not doing it on their own, or why it's just like not heard of enough. This process is a little bit complex. So it not only requires, going through the application and getting approved, but what's important to us to make part of this process as well is applying one's benefit to their internet service company. So making sure that your $30 is coming off your bill every month. So that's the extra step that I take to help residents take advantage of their benefit. I not only help them apply and make sure that they're approved, but I also get on the phone with them or help them with their login to get onto their online portal for their internet account and make sure that the company knows that they are approved for their benefit and that they are seeing it off their bill every single month. So if any of you have ever gotten on the phone with your internet company to make a change on your account or to add a new service, you know how long these conversations can take and just like how painful they are sometimes. And this is much harder when there are language barriers, knowledge barriers, or when someone just doesn't feel comfortable doing it on their own because they don't understand this process. And so that's what's really important to me, really advocating for residents and making sure that they understand this process and that they understand, how to get their benefit. And I want to talk also about why we start with ACP, the Affordable Connectivity Program. So as Peggy mentioned, internet access means access to opportunity. And here you can see a couple of data points that the Benton Institute gathered for us after they conducted a survey to assess our community's needs, specifically to broadband for broadband internet service. And they found that affordability is the greatest barrier to access. So the Affordable Connectivity Program is a program that is designed to help with that portion of it, with the affordability portion of it. $14.2 billion have been allocated for this subsidy and for residents to take advantage of. So that's why taking advantage of the affordability program, ACP, the Affordable Connectivity Program, is the first step to really combating that first barrier to accessing the internet. So now a couple more details about the ACP. So again, this is a federally funded program. It's run by the FCC, and it helps offset the cost of broadband internet service for qualifying households by up to $30 every month. And although this program is designed for under-resourced residents to take advantage of, presenting income information is not the only way to qualify. So there are actually different pathways to qualify, including the participation in federal assistance programs such as Medicaid or SNAP. People can also choose to apply through their dependent. So even if they themselves don't receive any of these programs, if they have a dependent who does receive any of these programs, or a dependent enrolled in a CEP school, which is a school where all students receive free or reduced lunch. It's not on a case-by-case basis. They can qualify that way. And I'd like to point out that Zion schools, North Chicago schools, and of course Waukegan schools are all CEP schools. So anybody who has a student in the Waukegan Public School District would automatically qualify for this program. Another great thing about this program is that having a social security number is not required to apply. So again, this opens up the door to many of our families, and we have already helped a ton of them who don't have a social security number qualify for this program and start saving off their internet bill as well. And as I mentioned, this process is complicated, so it's obviously not a one-and-done process. People don't, just jump from one day to the next and automatically see those $30. There are a couple of hoops we have to jump through, unfortunately, and that's why, doing this work is so important. As you can see, we've laid out 7 steps that we've seen we go through helping residents in order to get their benefit applied all the way through. And on average, it takes more than 100 minutes and multiple conversations and visit to complete all of these 7 steps to make sure that people are getting their $30 benefit every month. And of course, this process can be challenging in many different ways, including challenges with technology, digital literacy, or even just things like language and things of those sorts. So what have we achieved in the first 60 days? We have initiated contact with more than 230 households, not only in Waukegan, but also in Zion, North Chicago, and other surrounding communities. 33% of those households are already saving money with their chosen internet service provider. So 33% of these households are already seeing those $30 coming off their bill every month. And 34% are approved by the ACP, so they're approved to get their benefit, and they're in the process of having their benefit applied to their internet service provider. So this represents a total annual savings of more than $55,000. And just to give you an example of how much savings this actually is, rent for a Waukegan Housing Authority resident may be around $136 per month. So imagine how life-changing $30 every month could be for that resident. That's $360 per year. And I also want to talk a little bit about the resources that we have available, not only to you as our leadership, but also to our residents. So we do have videos in English and Spanish to share on social media. We also have flyers and handouts to inform residents, which you have on your desk right now. And then I also can do in-person information sessions, events, honestly, anything that you would think that residents can benefit from, I can be there happily. I also have open hours for appointments at the hub on Genesee Street. That is where I work out of, and I can receive people there and help them apply there as well, answer any questions. People are free to stop by. And then I also offer support over the phone in English and Spanish. Thank you very much.
What Elizabeth's been able to really kind of share with you is a couple of things. One is there are many pathways for residents here locally to qualify for this benefit. One of the biggest issues is people don't know about it. So there's kind of a slow uptake on it. And the government realizes that. They just had, the FCC had a meeting 3 weeks ago where they looked at approving some additional funds that go towards community outreach efforts. Because most of it is just like this, grassroots volunteer efforts. What Elizabeth's been able to do is one person in 2 months in terms of getting 230 households enrolled. It's been done because you have about 25 different local residents who helped volunteer at different events. We had a high school student, a high school senior, a local young man who helped us an intern this summer. Did a lot of our data collection, helped us figure out how many minutes on average it takes. But what we really wanted to emphasize with you is the help that you can provide in terms of sharing that this resource exists. Let your residents know if you have board meetings, if you're part of community organizations where you can help it make it known that Elizabeth is here as a resource. She really has sort of a two-pronged approach. She laid out those 7 steps. Part of it is just getting the word out, letting people know that this benefit exists and it is their benefit to use where they want. Once we get that info out, then it's actually sitting down and helping them go through the steps. And we are available to do as much or as little as possible. She's done train-the-trainer events. We have Candace Rowdy, who's kind of here doing our commands central on the slideshow tonight. Candace works for the Lake County Health Department and has kind of been in charge of their health ambassadors and is a consultant now with Connect Waukegan, helping us figure out how to streamline the process, how to add efficiency. We've done a training with Lake County Health Department employees so that they can become ambassadors. We work with a couple of other organizations to make sure that we are extending out, what we can do. We really want to amplify the benefit here. So the purpose tonight was to let you all know Elizabeth is here. She's available. We want to help residents, and really the first step we can take is helping us spread the word. Happy to take any questions. And we blew through a lot. There's more in your handout about some of the other work we're doing, but we did want to at least see you got it. Sure.
Yes, I really appreciate the opportunity and sitting with your board, and it's been really informative, and definitely it's been a productive meeting. But can you explain to our constituents the difference between what you're doing and those that are already offering broadband and giving away free phones and free tablets? Can you share with them what you share with me?
Sure. So it starts with the benefit that Elizabeth mentioned. And you think about that as $30 to carry in your back pocket, okay? It never comes directly to you. It's going to go to the provider, but it is yours to choose how you spend. So there are many organizations that we know are present in this community who might be walking around saying, hey, I've got a free tablet with free internet. Well, we talked a little bit internally, and free is not always free, because that internet or that tablet that has internet is being paid for with your benefit. When you sign up and enroll in that program, they are likely enrolling you in the Affordable Connectivity Program. Maybe that's exactly what you needed, that tablet with internet. But if instead, let's say sorry about that. Let's say I'm a homeowner and I personally have 4 boys. So we have 4 boys at home who we have an account with Xfinity for Comcast Internet at home. I would love to take $30 off that bill. Maybe I didn't really need that free device, but somebody was on the street and said, hey, Peggy, do you want a free tablet? And I was like, well, sure. I didn't realize what I had just done was pulled out basically my $30 and used it for that. When instead, maybe what I really wanted to do was reduce that bill at home. Because if you're like me, right now, $30 is about a half tank of gas. And, I need that every month. So what we want to help people understand is that, there may be things that sound like They are free, but you have to understand, you're using your benefit. It's your choice where you choose to use it. And again, that there's, we want to make it clear, we're not here in the work that Elizabeth does when she helps residents apply the benefit for their provider, it's wherever they choose. So it's not like we have a partnership or have a certain, the city does not have a network. This is not advocating one thing over another. We let them make the choice. And some residents will choose to apply it to a mobile bill. We've been doing work in some of the Waukegan Housing Authority locations working with some senior citizens. Some of them have found it more valuable to apply the ACP and their Lifeline benefit to their cellular bill. So it really is the resident's choice. We just want you to know that it exists, that it's available, and then help you figure out where you'd like to apply that benefit. Dr. Wilton, did that answer your question?
Yes, it did. Yeah. I have one more, just out of curiosity. 14.2 billion monies have been allocated for this program, ACP. Can you tell us where did it come from? What's the resource?
That was part of the infrastructure bill, and there was an enormous amount allocated to broadband in general, $65 billion. A portion of it went directly to this affordability. So just like we look here locally, nationally we also said affordability is one of the biggest barriers. So the government said, okay, we know there's infrastructure development that needs to occur, but in addition, we've got to figure out how to make this more affordable. As we've all talked, being connected we often refer to it as the fourth utility. And I give the example, my 4 boys now are young men. When they moved into a new apartment, no couch, no table, first thing they did was sign up for internet. They needed to live their life successfully in the 21st century. So whether it's for school, for work, and that's where we understand now that in order for people to have successful connections, we need to address that affordability barrier. So you've got all the contact info. Elizabeth and some other young folks here have designed this brochure to just remind people. And I was like, the first time I did it, I'm like, oh my gosh. We were handing these things out at a school resource fair recently, and everybody was like, wait, $30? And we're like, yes, we have $30. So just know that we're available and we're happy to help however we can.
Thank you, Peggy and Elizabeth, for that presentation.
Thank you.
Also, certainly, if you like to give some of your cards out, if that's out there, we appreciate that. But certainly, this is an opportunity for all of the Waukegan area to look at the affordability for internet access. Thank you very much.